Have you ever noticed that the pharmaceutical industry has a pill for almost everything? Headache? Take a pill. High blood pressure? Take a pill. Ringing in the ears? Guess what? Take another pill. But here's the question no one has asked you yet. Do these pills actually fix the problem? Or do they just hide the symptoms while your wallet gets lighter and your body more intoxicated? For years, I've seen people take medication after medication to try to stop tinnitus. And do you know what happened in most cases? The ringing stayed, now accompanied by dizziness, nausea, insomnia, and a list of side effects that seemed endless. And worst of all, the person became dependent. Because the moment they stopped taking the pill, the ringing came back even louder. That's not treatment, that's captivity. But there's something the pharmaceutical industry doesn't want you to discover. Something that doesn't generate billions in profits. Something you don't have to take for the rest of your life. A natural solution that targets the real cause of tinnitus, without side effects, without chemical dependency, and without turning your body into a walking storage unit for drugs. And the most impressive part? This solution has existed for decades. It was deliberately ignored because it can't be patented. Let me explain why conventional pills fail so miserably. When you swallow a pill for tinnitus, it basically does two things. It temporarily blocks nerve signals, or sedates the entire nervous system. That's like turning off a fire alarm while the house is still burning. The noise stops for a few hours. But the problem causing the tinnitus keeps getting worse. Nerve cells continue to deteriorate, brain-ear communication keeps failing, and you need higher and higher doses just to get the same temporary relief. Until one day, even that stops working. And do you know why? Because these pills were never designed to cure. They were designed to create lifelong customers. The longer you take them, the more dependent you become, the more money you spend, and the more side effects you accumulate. It's a vicious cycle that only benefits the seller. That's exactly why I started researching alternatives outside the traditional pharmaceutical system, and what I discovered completely changed the way I help people with tinnitus. There is a natural approach based on 3 specific substances that the human body itself uses to keep the auditory system working properly. And when you provide these substances in the right form, the right dose, and the right absorption method, tinnitus doesn't just fade, it disappears. No side effects, no dependency, no intoxication. Let me explain exactly how this natural mechanism works. The one the pharmaceutical industry hates. The first component is GABA, the brain's natural calming agent. GABA stands for gamma-aminobutyric acid. It sounds complicated, but it's simply the main neurotransmitter responsible for calming excessive neural activity in the brain. Here's what you need to understand. When you have tinnitus, your auditory neurons are firing electrical signals out of control, like fireworks exploding non-stop inside your head. GABA works like a switch that shuts down this excessive firing, connects to overstimulated neurons and literally forces them to slow down. And when that happens, the volume of the ringing drops dramatically. It's like turning down a radio that was stuck at full blast. Now here's the problem. Pharmaceutical drugs that try to mimic GABA come with a brutal list of side effects: extreme drowsiness, mental confusion, and high risk of dependency. Natural GABA has none of that. Because it's the exact same substance your body already produces, you're simply restoring what's missing. The second component is L-DOPA extracted from the Mucuna pruriens plant. L-DOPA is so powerful that conventional medicine uses synthetic versions of it to treat Parkinson's disease. But the natural version from Mucuna is far safer and doesn't cause the devastating side effects of the synthetic form. And here's why it's critical for eliminating tinnitus. L-DOPA is directly converted into dopamine in the brain. And dopamine isn't just about pleasure or motivation. It's absolutely essential for the neural circuits that process sound. When dopamine levels are low, the brain loses its ability to distinguish real sounds from internal noise. It starts generating phantom sounds out of nowhere, which you hear as tinnitus. But when you restore natural L-DOPA levels, the brain resumes proper dopamine production. The auditory circuits recalibrate, and those phantom sounds simply stop being generated. It's like fixing corrupted software on a computer. Once the code runs correctly again, the errors disappear. The third component is L-arginine, the circulation restorer. L-arginine is an amino acid with an extraordinary power. It forces the body to produce nitric oxide. And nitric oxide does something crucial. It relaxes and dilates blood vessels, allowing far more oxygen-rich, nutrient-dense blood to reach the nerve cells of the inner ear and brain. Think of it this way. Your auditory nerve cells are like plants dying of thirst. They can't function properly because they aren't receiving enough oxygen and nutrients. When L-arginine opens the blood vessels, it's like finally watering those plants. They come back to life, they stop sending distress signals, and the ringing you hear, which was literally their cry for help, finally stops. Conventional drugs try to force circulation with harsh chemicals that cause dizziness and dangerous drops in blood pressure. L-arginine does it naturally, gently, and without side effects. Now comes the part that separates this from any pill you've ever taken. These three natural components could be put into capsules, but then you'd face the same problem as every other pill: terrible absorption. When you swallow a capsule, stomach acids destroy much of the active ingredients. Then the liver filters out even more. In the end, you absorb maybe 15% to 25% of what you took. That's why capsule supplements require massive doses and still deliver mediocre results. That's exactly why this formula was developed as a sublingual spray, applied directly under the tongue. And that changes everything. Under the tongue is a membrane called the sublingual mucosa, packed with hundreds of tiny blood vessels. When you spray the formula there, the ingredients cross that membrane in seconds and go straight into the bloodstream. No stomach, no acid destruction, no liver loss. Absorption is up to 5 times higher than capsules. You actually use almost everything. That's why just 6 sprays per day are enough to give your brain everything it needs to silence tinnitus for good. And it works fast, much faster than any pill. But I need to be honest about timing. In the cases I've personally followed, the first improvements typically appear within 2 to 3 weeks. The ringing starts to lose intensity. Severe episodes become less frequent. And you notice growing periods of relief. But the full transformation happens between the 2nd and 3rd month of consistent use. That's when the auditory nervous system fully restores itself. The brain relearns how to process sound correctly. And the tinnitus finally disappears. You sleep through the night again. Your concentration returns. And for the first time in years, you experience true silence. That's why the recommendation is always 3 to 6 months of continuous use. Because the body needs time to deeply reorganize itself. And here's a critical warning. As this natural solution has gained popularity, dozens of fake products have appeared trying to imitate it. Some even copy the packaging, but they don't contain the correct ingredients. Or worse, they contain adulterated substances that can harm your health. If you decide to try this approach, use only the official link below this video. It's the only way to ensure you're getting the authentic spray, manufactured in certified facilities in the United States, under strict safety standards. Your health is not something to gamble with. And there's complete peace of mind. You get a 90-day unconditional guarantee. If it doesn't work, if you don't like it, or if you change your mind, you get a full refund. No questions, no hassle. But here's the truth. Almost nobody asks for their money back. Why? Because when you finally get rid of that relentless ringing without relying on prescription drugs, when you sleep peacefully without side effects, when you realize you've reclaimed your life without becoming a slave to a pill, you know you've found the real solution. If you're tired of being a guinea pig for the pharmaceutical industry, if you want a natural solution that actually works, if you want to eliminate tinnitus without turning your body into a chemical warehouse, click the link below. There you'll find all the details about this natural spray, a full explanation of how each ingredient restores your auditory system, the scientific foundations behind this approach, and testimonials from people who left pills behind and finally reclaimed silence. My goal is to make everything crystal clear, to show you there is a natural and effective path, because getting rid of tinnitus, without side effects, without chemical dependency, and without draining your wallet month after month, is not a privilege. It's your right.